looked at my floor plan, I realized my daughter's at what 4, so her life balance is the southeast.
Right.
She's my oldest daughter, the
Right.
southeast, academics, the southeast. I had a garage in the southeast, which we use as storage. Had no flow, no movement, no conditioning, nothing. So there was nothing I could do with star 4 because the source for star 4 had no chi flow. So that's why it wasn't working.
Yeah,
So it was
simple.
go back to basics.
Insta.
And also I'm a
YouTube.
1'9", so I
YouTube.
found that I didn't have passion, I didn't like what I was doing. My south was missing as well. So I knew that that was a problem that needed to be fixed. So we moved houses. My daughter's life has changed, Joey, significantly. And that's one of the messages that I wanted to give everybody. It's like there is no complicated formula. There isn't. Just I make her follow the 4, I study in the 4, I activate her intelligence star, I activate her nobleman star. She's one of the best schools in Florida. She's doing outstanding. She has even made honor roll.
Well done.
She's very, very, very good. Also, she's achieved 7, which we spoke in the
she's
Achievement
level
Academy.
7. Wow,
Yeah, so she has a lot
okay.
of potential for that. And something else that you mentioned yesterday, which is what I do in my practice. I am, by the way, I forgot to say that I'm a full-time Feng Shui practitioner now. I believe I am more successful now that I was practicing law, which is a big
You're
thing.
more fulfilled now, right?
Yes, in every aspect, every aspect. The people that didn't believe in me when I quit law because they thought, well, you must be doing something crazy. You don't quit being an attorney to do this, are now my clients.
Wow, fantastic.
They're not my clients, yes, absolutely, yes. And one of the other things is like, somebody asked yesterday about the negative stars. In my practice, I don't care about the negative stars. I don't care. I know my focus, my priorities are my daughter's schooling. My son is a soccer player, so I care about the 4, I care about the 3. My husband is in sales, so I care about the 6. What you were saying yesterday, I use the 6, influential. I don't care about the 7, I care about the 6 and it's faster. And his income has increased by 50%.
Wow.
And I use the
fantastic.
6. So I don't care what the 5 is at, I don't care because what I want is the star that I focus on and I follow that. So I don't care about the rest. So that's what I put my
How many of
intention.
you can see chi level is high or low? High. Okay, this is so good. Very good. Thank you for sharing that. Wow. You guys have questions for Paula? She's got a daughter they need to change and transform. Anyone here?
Don't be afraid of using threes and using all those numbers.
There's a question here from Jaden. Right? Any other questions from here?
Rasanya okey lah.
Right here in front.
Baik lah. Tengah jalan lagi lah.
I'll pass you the mic.
Rasanya tengah jalan lagi lah.
Microphone, please.
Kalau dia tengok dekat FB kan, dia tulis part 2, maknanya part 2 tu tadi ada putus tu.
Can I have mic runners in the front, please? Right. No, don't shout. It's okay. Alright, we need microphones in front. Okay.
Hi, I have a daughter that has ADD too, and I just want to know exactly what did you do as far as the whole house was concerned. You said you focused on the 4, but was it mainly in her bedroom and where she's had the most?
Well, I focus on star 4 for 2 things. One, she's at what 4? And second 4 usually has to do with academics. So, and that is represented by the southeast sector. So in the house that we had before, that's why she was the one being personally affected because it was her life balance, and academics is 4, which is the southeast. The house that we moved, I make sure that the southeast had great forms external, and it happened to be her bedroom inside. So then that's why, and then I knew that the star 4 home base had good senshi. So when I activated it annually or monthly, I knew I was activating a star that had good source coming in. And it had windows, so I make sure that I open the windows and everything to get the activation for that star 4.
Excellent. Thank you.
Of course, yeah.
Great. Any other question? One more? Right over there. At the back.
Hi, I'm Anthony from Singapore.
Anthony from Singapore.
My apartment has 1 4 and a 1 4 1 star. One is in my living room, the other one is in my bedroom. I was trying to activate both star for my daughter as well. I hear just now you said something about your I didn't get that part. What exactly was that?
You didn't get the part where the daughter is for.
The garage.
Well, her garage was in the southeast area where Gua Forest, the original life
Exactly.
palace.
So in the Wat 4, the original Life Palace is the southeast. And it's also the original home palace for Star 4, which has to do with academics, which is the issue that she was having. So my garage was used as a storage, which we probably used 4 times a year, if that. So it had no flow, no movement, so my Star 4 wasn't being positively activated. So that's why she was the one mostly being affected, because it was her life as well. So then that's why it was an issue.
So what is needed to activate an area if you do not have water in front or mountain behind?
Well, that's the thing that I was doing wrong before I met Joey. I was trying to activate Star 4, but I cannot, like Joey was saying, if you don't have hair, you can't permit. I cannot activate a star that has no source.
Yeah.
Exactly. The southeast in my particular situation was negative because it was very inactive. It didn't have flow. So it doesn't matter how many water tanks I put in Star 4, it wasn't working. So I didn't know why it wasn't working, and it's because I didn't have a good life palace for that star. So if you want to activate Star 1 and 4, I believe that's what you said, you need to make sure that the southeast is good and that the north is good, which is the home base for 1.
Yeah. So if the sector is blocked, in her case, it is blocked. So there's no way you can activate a block area. So what she did subsequently, she moved to a house where there's no blockage in the southeast, where there's flow. Remember the first lesson, flow? So when flow happens, it's easy to have any activation, water, activity, study room, any form of activity is useful because now there's no blockage.
And by her using the southeast now happens to be her room, then it's being automatically activated by use. Because it's already there.
Okay?
Yes.
All right. Cool. All right. Thank you, Paula. Thank you. We're going to have more Q&As shortly. Here's Sally Forrest.
Hi, Jody. Hi,
Sally's
everybody.
from Singapore, right?
Sally!
Tell us a little bit about what you do, what you practice, and how you end up being here in Singapore.
Okay. So I'm originally from the UK, and I actually first came to Singapore in around the year 2000. But I'll just tell you a little bit about how I got here, because it's quite interesting, because I'm sure some of the people in the room will be experiencing this. Originally, I'm from the corporate world, so I was a medical pharmacist by training, and I was very driven by all the external things of life. So I was going at my external career, I was achieving more and more and more, and I was running a multi-million-dollar business, a retail business, a pharmaceutical retail chain in the UK. And at that time, I thought that, this is what life was all about. Acquiring more and more, getting the promotion, getting the bigger job. And I was really on this high of life, thinking that this is what life was all about. But then 6 days before Christmas one day, I had the telephone call and it came totally out of the blue. And it was my father and he said, "Sally, your mother's just died." And it was really quick, it wasn't expected, she was very young and she just died like instantly. And I went into one of these moments where, I remember looking at the wall and I was thinking, I've got everything on the external world, but I don't know how to cope with this situation, right? I haven't got the internal mechanism to deal with all of this. So this was one of those moments in my life that really changed my life around. And I'm sure some of you in this audience will have had a difficult moment. And when you're going through the moment, you don't realize, but when you look back later, you realize that that was a turning point for you to take the next step forward. So then it was almost like the universe took over, because the company I was working for suddenly decided to expand internationally. So they said, "Sally, you're doing a great job. Why don't you go to Asia and open all the retail stores in Asia?" And this is a company called Boots. So I brought myself to Thailand and we opened 70 Boots stores in 3 years. So the people from Thailand, if you're here, if you see the Boots stores and you shop there, you can thank me. Gang Ma, Khop Khun Ka. Everybody loves Boots stores, it's all the toiletries and the cosmetics. So that was another turning point. So I went, and I realized now I changed my Feng Shui totally. So I went from Feng Shui of the UK to Feng Shui of Thailand. So it distracted me and it took me on this new journey away from the pain and the loss and the unhappiness of losing my mum to taking on a new role. But then the universe sometimes sends you another message. If you haven't got it the first time, you get another message. So what happened? Again, I was at the top of my career, 70 stores, giving people jobs. And then Boots
spoke to me and they said, look, Sally, come back to England and downsize the corporate company. Now, those of you that are in the corporate world, this means making thousands and thousands and thousands of people redundant. So it was another of those moments where I was on a high and suddenly the company brought me to a new level. So I had to go back to the UK because my work permit depended on it, but it was one of those moments every day I woke up and I knew my energy wasn't high, I wasn't excited about life, so I just quit my job after 18 years in senior management. I just quit my job. And everyone thought I was crazy. Everyone thought, why the hell is she doing this? You know, she's having a midlife crisis. But in my heart, I just knew it wasn't what was right for me. So I brought myself back to Asia and I took 6 months out and I actually opened an orphanage because I really had this feeling that I had to give back. So I opened an orphanage, and that was another section, because whilst I was there dealing with these people in the hill tribes, they had no access to medicine, but they could heal themselves. And I was a medical pharmacist, and the moment you fall sick, you take a tablet. So I had this awareness that there's another way of living, there's another way of thinking about life. So this took me on this journey to understand the mind, to understand the body, and I learned meditation, I learned Reiki, I learned Shiatsu, I learned everything. And eventually I thought, I know all about the inner chi, but I don't know about the external chi.
Every trial and tribulation, right?
Yes.
It's a turning point.
So that's what took me to Feng Shui. And I was living in Singapore, so I learned with a teacher who was teaching in Singapore at the time, and I was the only expat in the group, and everything was said in Chinese, and I was like a rabbit in the headlight. I was really startled because I had no clue, right? But I had to learn all the squiggles. And then I was sitting next to some guy, and I said, I really want to learn about business, because my background is business. And he sent me this bit of paper, and he said, contact Joey Yap. Because in those years, right, this was about 2009, in those years it wasn't really cool, yeah? To learn with Joey, you had to learn with the ancient Chinese masters, and Joey was this young guy in a suit looking like a rock star, and all the ancient masters were like, don't go and learn with Joey. So this guy gave me this piece of paper, and he said, go and learn with Joey Yap. Right. And I came to learn with Joey, and it was just phenomenal. And he gave me some really good advice about my new business, because at the time I wanted to give back again, and I wanted to open a holistic center, so dealing with the mind and the body. And I remember Joey saying, you've got a lot of strength in your output, you've got to create things, you've got to do things. So I created a lot of processes and systems, and IP protected our work. So now we work with people and we take like meditation from beginner all the way to teacher level, we take inner healing all the way from basic all the way to teacher level, and we IP protected it in 37 countries. So just because of the Feng Shui and meeting Joey, it was pretty phenomenal. And I'm one of these people that likes to disrupt. So what you were saying this morning is exactly what I've done. I've started to use the Star 3. I use flying stars a lot. And I've decided that we've got to take our business to the next level.
Right.
Because what starts to happen in business is you become a big fish in a small pond, and you get comfortable. And you've got to sort of disrupt yourself, and you've got to disrupt the market, and you've got to decide, how am I going to take this successful business even higher? Because if you stay at this level in a successful business, you're only going to go down. You're not going to go up, you're only going to go down.
Anything that's not growing is probably dying.
So I started to use the 3, and the 1 has appeared at my front door this year. So I decided I'm going to look for noblemen, I'm going to look for joint ventures, I'm going to look for business partners. And we've decided to bring this whole movement called wealth, wisdom, and winning to the world. So we're combining the aspect of business and wealth with the aspect of spirituality and wisdom. Because
So it's heart and business.
heart and business, because everybody needs both.
Yes, you need both. You can't just have business without heart.
A lot of my clients are multi-millionaires, and inside they're always looking for something that's not there. It's like this fulfillment, this significance, this legacy. Yeah, they've not got the heart.
Yeah.
So we're bringing the wisdom, and we've teamed up with a guy who's going to bring the wealth aspect, because he runs 4,000 salespeople. He's got a lot of experience in sales, and we launched it only 3 months ago.
Wow.
And we set up the Feng Shui, and we launched it 3 months ago, and we launched it in Manila. And our first event, we got 350 people there.
Nice.
I'd never even been to Manila. We just launched it through Facebook marketing.
Right. You guys from Philippines can look for Sally.
Yeah, Philippines. And then we launched it in Singapore, and we got 150 people in Singapore.
Nice.
And then this weekend, we're taking it back to Manila. And since we launched it, lots of people are saying we want to take it to our country, because we're giving back. We're doing 3.
So that's how momentum picks up, right? You just have to take the first step.
Yeah, and we're doing 3 events, right? So we're educating people on wealth and wisdom.
Excellent. Wow. So you're making a great impact now in this community. Wow, that's good. That's good. You guys got questions for Sally? Questions for Sally, who's starting up here, corporate world, look for fulfillment.
Anything about the mindset? I'm happy.
Yes, right over there. This is your chance. Masters of the masters. Right here, okay, there, go. Another person, I get the mic ready for you guys. You just put your
Hi.
hands up.
I'm Miss Wong from Malaysia, but I've been living in Switzerland for 15 years now. And yes, I'm in the corporate world, but something has stopped me now because of my health. And I've been on medical leave for a month. And I felt like I need a big change, a shift in my life. But because of my health, everything is holding me back. And what is it that will push me forward? I feel I'm still in a
Dilemma.
yes.
Okay. Okay, so the first thing you have to understand is what story are you telling yourself?
Apa
So at the
you
moment
ambil
you're
dia,
telling
Islam
yourself
ambil
that your
mungkin.
health is stopping you from moving forward. And if you continue to tell yourself that story, you'll never take the first step forward. Now, life only changes when you take action. So if you stand there and you do nothing, life will not change. So I teach a lot about the mind, body and health and healing, and I say to people, do not bring health issues into the current moment. Act as if you're fully healthy. Because then you will take the next step in a much more positive manner. And you'll be more confident to take the next step
Dia
forward.
ambil, Islam ambil
Because
makan.
unless you take one tiny step, you will just stay where you are. So it's about the mindset. So every morning you wake up and you say to yourself, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm moving forward. I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm moving
Yang
forward.
tu mana boleh
If you
ambil
start
makan.
saying that to yourself, you'll be able to take the next step forward. But it takes action. And once you take the first step, then you'll take the second, then you'll take the third, and then you'll be running.
Yes, I've seen. I happened to see a doctor in Switzerland that helped me pull this through right now because I was diagnosed with Lyme disease and I had this now for the last 10 years. And I just realized it. Thank you to Dato for guiding me the way because I took this course because of my health. And I deep dive into your module on health, and I found out that taking medication on certain sectors helped me. So I found the right doctor actually to diagnose what I have. But the thing is, I have been having this fatigue for like 8 years. I have to say I'm quite a spiritual person. I know about Reiki. I've done holistic things in my life, but thank you, Sally, for guiding me the way, saying that I should
Tak.
think of being healthy from now on.
Yes, one small step, that's all we need.
Thank
Right?
you.
One small step is always the first
Dia wajib lagi.
thing to do. Great, thank you. Was there another question somewhere? Oh, yes, can you please stand up, ma'am? Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Sally. I'm Sin from Melbourne. Now, I don't know how to phrase
Microphone
this.
from yeah.
I don't know exactly how to
Masalah tak
phrase
jumpa.
this query of mine. It's not about wealth.
Microphone, please. Microphone closer to the mouth. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, it's not about wealth. It's about, I don't know whether it's about spirituality or karma. But you know how Dato always talk about doing Feng Shui healing for people. Now,
Mulu tak boleh
what I
nampak.
am wondering about is if I
Tak
help
slap macam mana?
someone who is sick, and does the negative energy gets picked
turun bawah
up
sikit kan.
by, say, a practitioner?
Orang kata ni atas
And
pada camp.
karmically, how does it affect? How do you reconcile with it? Do I have to? This is what is confusing me.
Okay, nice question.
Good question.
Okay, I'm going to give you Karma 101. Right, Karma 101. We actually teach Karma in our center, but it takes like 3 days to teach the whole program of Karma. Karma 101 is what actions, what thoughts, what emotions, what seeds are you as an individual planting? So what actions are you taking? What is your intention when you're dealing with people on a daily basis? What somebody else is doing is their karma. So if somebody else is sick and you're helping them and your intention is good and your intention is to help them, you are not taking on anybody else's karma. You're planting good seeds and moving yourself forward. So you cannot take on anybody else's karma. And when SARS was happening in Singapore, I was dealing with clients. I had clients every single day coming through my house, 0 issues. Because my intentions were good. Yes, I was taking a payment because I was doing a service, but my intention was to help them. Now, what seeds they plant is up to them. So you are not taking on anybody's karma.
Thank you.
Good one. Very good. A lot of people here needed that. I think the part that we talked about intention, where your vibration is very important. Because if you vibrate at the wrong intention, then you actually absorb the negative chi, because you are so afraid of getting this that you're giving instruction and leaving yourself vulnerable to problems. So it wasn't they who caused you this, you caused the misery yourself. So you shouldn't do that. When you want to help someone, you help someone. Just because you got paid for it, because it's your time is valuable too. You're taking time away from your personal time to serve other people. Otherwise you could spend this with your family, your kids. So there's nothing wrong with that. So don't get attached to the problems. You focus on the solutions. Cool? All right. We'll do Q&A shortly again. Let's talk to Master Hong. All right. Now, Master Hong obviously has written many books on classical Feng Shui, and his foray into Feng Shui has been interesting. Let him describe this to you. Maybe you can give us a short introduction to how you got into this.
Hi, hello, everybody. I was a corporate person. I held quite a high position in the corporate world until the year 2000, and I decided enough was enough, because but there's also a Feng Shui reason why I had difficulty during the years 1999 and 2000, but that's besides the point. So anyway, after 2000, I spent a lot more time on Feng Shui. My interest in Feng Shui was well before that. But at the time, I was following a master, a traditional master, who teaches a traditional Chinese way. If you ask him a question, he says, he doesn't know the answer. He says, I've done this 10,000 times. You don't believe me? Get out of my class. So the year soon after 2000, I attended one of Joey's lessons the first time, and I found that his approach was so different. Firstly, I'm a Western trained, and so you see. So the way we approach a problem is much more to my liking. So instead of saying that if you don't, I've done this 10,000 times, you don't believe me, get out. He did tell me. Sometimes I asked him, where did this come from? He was very kind. He told me, go and read this book. That's how it comes from. So and he explains it in a way that a Western trained mind can easily accept. That's one very important, one very big point. I've stayed with him now since 2004, I think.
2004, yeah.
It's a long time. But why I stuck with it so long is firstly because of the mindset. Secondly, I find that with Joy School, we learn many different techniques, and that is unusual. Because the traditional way of learning Feng Shui, you follow one master, and you will learn what he knows, and you cannot follow anybody else, otherwise he will kick you out of. It was the advantage of knowing many different systems is this. First of all, each of us has affinity to a certain system. And certainly when we have affinity, we find our affinity to a certain system, we practice it more often, and the more you practice it, the better you become at using that particular method. That's one aspect. Second aspect is different properties in different environments lend themselves to treatment in a different way. Now, yesterday I noticed that you have been studying a lot on flying stars. Flying stars is it's a very powerful system. It's a lot of users, but in certain places, I find that after some time, when you arrive at a place, you know instinctively which is the better system to use for that particular environment. All right. Sometimes nowadays I do work professionally, and I use different systems depending on the environment. I do both in-house and yang-house. For you, know what in-house are the tombs, yeah? I do them both. I have success stories, but I don't want to bore you with them here. I just say that in-house, I believe I did quite well, because so far, none of the residents complained. Okay, how do I use my knowledge? Okay, I use my Feng Shui knowledge. Firstly, I have a little investment business, properties and a few other things. And certainly Feng Shui came very useful when I decide which property to buy or rent. Oh, yeah, since you're talking about flying stars, I relate to you one actual case. I went to this property, it was on sale, and it was a triangular piece of land, so people didn't like it. So I looked at it and I saw in the southeast sector a nice greedy wolf star. Have you come across it?
Pretty well studied, they don't know, but it's a mountain
It's a
that
mountain. It's a nice,
looks like a penis.
a nice mountain in the southeast sector. So southeast is, as you know, star 4. All right? And then there was a swimming pool right in the middle of the land. Not in the middle, on one side of the land, which brings in between the mountain and the front door. So what do you have? 1, 4. So what is it good for? Obviously education, among other things. And what was that property? Kindergarten. So I bought the property, and for 10 years they did extremely well. Every month they just banked in my rental, never bothered me with any problems, they solved the problems, so I also didn't look at the property. So 1, 4, it's very powerful, and especially in their field. So that was very good. 10 years gone by, suddenly the business went downhill. And in fact, from 140 students, they went down to 4. So they decided, all things, they said they want to give up. I said, okay, Then I went there to check the property. And you know what happened? Without telling me, they built 2 more stories on the land, blocking the mountain and the water coming to the front door. Totally, completely blocked. And I talked to the people then, they said that within 3 years, 140 students down to 4. So it's very important. Flying stars are very, very telling, important. So what you've learned yesterday, I saw the tape, I wasn't here, I saw the tapes. Very high level flying stars. You don't normally get this when you attend classes of flying stars. You've got to already a very high level. Yeah?
I think for them they need to digest it because they just learn it, right? And then you probably don't see how it goes. That's why we have this session here to listen to people who are already using this for some time. And I think the 1-4-1 combination, I think Master Hung can tell you a little bit about it. It's actually the entire secret of the Purple White Classics. And Master Hung has actually done a transliteration of this very, very highly read and referenced book in Flying Stars. Maybe Hung, you can tell us a little bit about this book.
Yes. In fact, earlier on I asked Tato, I said, if I want to study classics, which one should I read first? This is Purple White. So I went and read it. I read it again. I must have read the book 10 times at least. And then I thought I knew enough, so I translated everything, commented on each one. Then I've been seeing Tato's lessons of late. And despite me having read the book 10 times and translated it, the way he uses Purple White is so innovative. I mean, it's all there, but it's not black and white. You have to read between the lines, you have to improvise, and he's done that so well. I said, gee, I read the book 10 times, I haven't got, half of what his understanding was. Fantastic, all right? Learned that. Purple White, there are 4 books. The flying style you guys are learning right now is really Master Shen's version. There are 4 classics which are way before Master Shen. This Purple White is one of them. They really lay the foundations of flying stars. So if those of you who are really into flying stars, after learning the class and all that, try to read those books. They probably send you to sleep, but there's still a lot of stuff in there.
You guys have learned the application side. So that those texts that Home has translated gives you the technical side, just in case you want to know the background. Because I think for some of you who are interested in the academic side of Feng Shui, right, to give you that solid foundation of knowing where the system is from, everything that we share with you in the class actually comes from the ancient books. That's the difference between authentic Feng Shui and some made-up shit that people say, put frog here and put thing there, yeah? So I'm sure you heard of people saying, put this here, put that there, right? That one has got no reference to literatures. So when Home translated those books, I heavily recommend them, because then a lot of you guys, maybe you do know Chinese, but you don't know it deep enough, or maybe you don't know Chinese at all, but you want to at least know where it comes from. These are like the Bibles of Feng Shui. So I do recommend that you get a chance and grab a copy and have a look at it. So that's what Hong was talking about.
One more thing before I stop. What I use Feng Shui for? Doctor, are you going to cover Qi-Men after this?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit now. What I do now with during the last few months was I use Qi-Men forecasting to decide what stock I should invest, what stock I should not invest. All right, I did that in the last few months, and the results are exceedingly good. So, in fact, 2 months ago, about 2-3 months ago, I started looking at technology stocks. And every time the broker come and ask me, you buy this stock, it's very, very good. I look at it, I say, okay, that sounds like good. Then I open the Qi-Men chart, and he says, don't buy. Out of 5 times, 4 times they don't buy. And of course I didn't buy. And as you all know what happened the last month, technology stocks all went away. All right? So it's very interesting. I thought I mentioned this, some of you might be investors. Learn this technique.
Hong is a very methodical practitioner or master of this subject, and he will analyze in detail the technique. So I like to say, you're 4 years late in the game, right?
I think I'm the kind of guy you describe as anal.
Yeah.
I'd like to know everything.
But once you get it from Master Hong, you get the gist of those techniques, because he is very, very meticulous, and you need people like this in the field of Feng Shui. So, and of course, Qi-Men is not an easy subject actually to crack the methodical side, because there's so many variances and parts of the classics are missing. So the research on that is a hell of a job. And I think when Hong one day does the translation, I think you should do it. You're good at it. 在管理上台了。
I think I'll stop here.
Any questions for Master Hong? Any questions for Master Hong? Any academic? Yes, over there. There's one question over there.
Yes, my name is Victor from Singapore. Master Hong, I would like to ask you. By the way, I bought your Purple White script book. I would like to ask you that is it correct that as far as for high rise, we follow the Purple White flying star all the time?
Repeat again, please. And so for what?
Is it correct for high rise?
For high rise?
Yes, for high rise.
Well,
we will 100% follow the flying star formation of a purple white flying star chart.
Well, I know Dr. Joey recommends this. It's not you following exclusively, I would say no. You still have to look at the flying stars chart based on the buildings building's facing. So you are one of the units, you share the chart. But what the purple white gives you is you're up there, your unit, your floor and unit has a different chart. Now, I use that mainly for predictions, all right? You predict, you have created 2 new stars, and the 2 new stars, the combination of 2 new stars give you meaning. I use it for that. So as I say, Dato has a very wide understanding of purple white. He refined the technique so much that it's very impressive.
So supposing I'm a Feng Shui consultant to advise my client on any high-rise apartment, do I normally open up just the basic flying star chart and only use the purple white flying star only for prediction?
No, again, I repeat, I won't do it exclusively. I will do it as an additional layer. Purple white gives you the additional layer for you to design. But I would use, in fact, I don't only use flying stars. I mean, I also look at the water flow in front of the building, around the building, the chi flow within the floor, where's the lift, the chi flow from the unit door to the lift, all these are really other aspects of Feng Shui.
Thank you so much.
All right. Any other question? One more, perhaps? One more from the crowd. Yes, over here. Hi.
Good morning, Dato, and the panel. I'd like to direct this question to Master Hong regarding the achievement for investing. You see, you need the universal marker, right, before you even ask the question. Well, in investing, you don't have the time. You need to make the decision fast. So how do I wait, for the 3 markers before I ask the question, which stock to buy?
I can only tell you what marker I use. First, my broker recommends the stock to be in an email. Just look at the email's date and time.
Man, WhatsApp dia semua cakap dia.
There's a time,
Masalah.
I will cast the chart
Facebook live lah.
relating to a particular investment. So it's really something, why did they recommend to me at that particular moment in time? It's really a marker.
Because I think she got the concept wrong. Markers, you only look once. You ask 3 times. 3 times is for evidential occurrence. A lot of people mix up the 2. It's 2 different things. You mix up evidential occurrence with marker. You only need to get 1 marker, not 3 times. 3 markers will give you 3 charts. Okay? Okay. If you write down universal marker and evidential occurrence is 2 different things. 1 apple, 1 orange, Yeah? Evidential occurrence is from when you ask for something, then the universe gives you 1, 2, 3 evidential occurrence to tell you, I got the message, I'm preparing, coming soon. Okay? Nothing to do with marker. Markers when you want to forecast. This is the number 1 confusion for people.
Alright.
Okay?
All
Alright. Cool. Alright, let's talk to Vivian. I think for some of you, you already know Vivian's background, but for those who don't, Vivian is a very famous practitioner and a very successful businesswoman here in Singapore, and she's a very senior student and now, of course, established Feng Shui master here in Singapore. And to make a booking with Vivian, you need to wait like 4 to 6 months at least, yeah? Alright, so today we have her here to give her side of her story. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you do?
I'm Vivian from Singapore. My voice is a little bit low today. I hope you bear with me because my external phone, the northeast one, has been activated by my neighbor. So it's a calamity shock and having this flu for almost 2 weeks and on the road to recovery. So when I was called to do this talk here, I said, hopefully my voice is okay that I can. It's okay? Yeah, so you can hear me. So I started learning Feng Shui in 1997 with one of the local master. He's now in Beijing. He teaches me Qi Men Dun Jia. But the problem with him is during those days in 97, we don't have access to the apps like what Joey gave, so we do a lot of plotting. But I learned from him a lot of evidential occurrence and I Ching. So I Ching and evidential occurrence is really helped me a lot. And I carry on with him date selection. So from there, 1997, I observe and I do a lot of activation based on the date selection. During those days, I have to see like 6 or 7 calendar to do myself. And then one day, when Joey was teaching date selection, his very first in Singapore, I learned it and then I start doing everything myself. So I no longer need to wait for calendars.
I now used to buy a lot of tong shoes and do all
tong
your
shoes, like
suffering.
6, 7 tong shoes, and 3 of those tong shoes from Hong Kong, Malaysia, and 3 of them say it's good. Okay, I'll use this one. So now, after many years of study, I no longer need this. Now I do myself, and I do 3 years in advance. Like I'm now into 2021 already, doing the...
That's what Vivian is famous for. Ever since doing the date selection program, now she prepares her own personalized Master Vivian calendar. And you got 3 years in advance right now.
3 years in advance. Yeah, so because I look at projects, sometimes I do projects, it takes about 1.5 years. Like big corporates, they come from Japan, they come from US, they need to book all the CEOs and they need about 6 months in advance, and when the project finish, when's the opening and all that. So I had that 3 years in advance. And then during 1980s, I used to go to Hong Kong because I'm a fashion designer. I get manufactured all my clothes in Hong Kong. And I meet a lot of Feng Shui master. And when I was doing interior decorating, I also work with a lot of Feng Shui masters. So after learning from many of them, in 1999, when Joey was in the old school in Ampang, I started learning with Joey's ex-partner, with one of the instructor in Singapore, and then I started getting Joey's first Shen Kong home study program. That was amazing. That 1999, that books helped me a lot. I read over and over again, and I understand, and then I carry on. So when Joey switched to the new school, I remember that year was 2003.
2003.
So 2003.
I need to say something. You know, 1999, I must, for some reason, activated my very powerful Feng Shui at that time. At that time, only 22 years old, you know. I've no clue, seriously, how this Feng Shui at that time, now I understood why, but at that time, at 22 years old, how often do you trust a 22-year-old guy? And I got people to buy my home study course, right? 2,000 Sing dollars. All right. My whole idea was, okay, I just need to get this out, and I don't have that many copies. Let's see how it goes, right? So, and I went to actually the first place I launched it was in Miami. Yeah, I did it in Miami. It was 1 month before 9/11. Okay, so that was the first time this book actually came out, right?
So in the year 2003, Joey was in the old school, and then I was looking at, we are coming into a period 8. So period 8 is Gengua. Gengua, there will be a young man coming up into this world. So that's why I followed Joey, and I tried to organize classes with Jamie at that time in Singapore. And I've been doing that, helping him in the seminar in Singapore, putting him in Prestige magazine, Millionaire Asia, and he's get popular, and a lot of people listen to him, and all these are educated doctors, lawyers, professionals that comes to Joey's seminar. So in the past,
actually, Vivian has been instrumental in my early days setting up Singapore program. I don't think you guys were there from those days.
2006 was
2006, 2005, right? We did the events here. And also at that time, Vivian, you were building your house, right? You're moving from the old house to the new house.
So I got my plan, and then I went to see Joey in the old office, and I was telling Joey says, in the old days, we are all very popular with the water dragon. So Joey said the water dragon has flaw. Don't do the water, has fault there. Don't do the water dragon. Just do whatever you think. What I've done, the 8 mention, the flying star. And because in my work in the interior designer, I've met many masters, and I also did several jobs was done by this Hong Quan Fa Si. So Hong Quan Fa Si used a lot of fine tuning, which he actually used the 7-star robbery, the Castle Gate, and I did my house based on the 7-star robbery. So everything's
How much your house worth now?
Yeah. So
Now your house is
15 million. Yeah, it's 3/4 of the last time when I put in, I built in. So I've been doing very, very well, but I still study because I want to add more layers to my client. So I do Feng Shui, I do date selection, I do Qigong, and Qigong is one of my favorite now.
You use it a lot for fun games and
Fun games, even
and she goes to where are your Birkin bags today?
Today I didn't
Her Birkin bags are all paid by NBS and paid by RWS. You want to tell us some interesting stories?
Later I share
Later
one
you
story
share, okay.
recently.
That's what she's famous for.
Okay, on the 20th and the 23rd, I actually had an appointment with one interior designer. So he told me that, oh sorry Vivian, I have an architect meeting on 23rd. This appointment was booked very long ago. So he said, can you shift a date for me? I said, Monday, Tuesday, I'll be in Joey's seminar, I can't come. But I'm willing to work during the holidays because it's my passion, I want to get things done. So that day on the Haji, on the 22nd, I went to do this interior designer home. He actually got me 10 years ago to do his house. So he was doing very well for the last 2 years. So he was from home, one interior decorator, but at home, he managed to have 4 interior designers with him. So after 2 years, he was doing very well. He moved out of his house. He didn't tell me, and he didn't call me back. He said, the reason I didn't call you, because you were too expensive. And then I was learning numerologies, so I used the numerologies, told him what number to look for. And that was the 8 years that he had doubt for. He had all the 4 interior designers no longer with him, and he has to move out to this very small home. Now it's an apartment and it's only 600 square feet. So he said, oh, my house is only 600 square feet. So how much you charge? I say, per visit is 3,000. If less than 1,000 square feet, it's still a minimum charge of 3,000. If no 3,000, I will not go. So I went, and then I went in, I saw his house, and I walked into the apartment. In the meantime, that's what we wanted to see. We have to clear the path. So immediately, I say, you clear. He will move. Immediately, he start moving his boxes at the meantime. And he said, this is the area that I use every day. I sit there to call my client, to think or have a drink or smoke. So I said, that's the north. Okay, straight immediately, I moved my table to the side. So I said,
did all the jobs
instantly, because he was very eager. He's trying to follow me where I could help him. So I did, and I did all the chart for him, and I tell him when to move his table, and his architects.
Then what happened?
Yeah, only on 22nd. Then after that, I gave him, I said...
That was August 22nd?
Yeah, August 22nd.
Okay.
And then I said, I'll get my PA to do the report on the computer with the 24 mountain nicely, and I email back to you. So after talking and we finished the audit, he walked me off and went to the car. He texted me. He said, Vivian, there's one important thing I forgot to ask you. Where should I be sitting and win the 4D?
Okay.
So I said, no, you don't have a place that you could win the 4D. There's nothing in the house that you could win. She said, I have this number, 0232. I want to buy. So that day was Wednesday. So he went to buy.
That was last Wednesday, right?
Today is Sunday.
Today's Sunday, so last week, just happened, right?
Last Wednesday, he bought 0232. Immediately on Wednesday itself, he texted me and said, you see, Vivian, I missed by a nose. Tonight open 1232 on the 3rd prize. Then he said, I say, because you don't have no clarity, you have to, because his earth, and I say, when you see water month, November, December, January, you will have better chances of winning. And if you see water element inside the month, when the stamps or inner hidden, you need to unearth. So now this month is the Geng Shen month, right? So rainwater is in the monkey, so he has to unearth. So you have to have a little chance. So you buy again over the weekend. So
Wednesday, he missed it by the nose, and Saturday, he bought one day. He bought $50 big. And he said, you told me to buy over the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. But for Singapore, when you buy, you normally will buy 2 days, which is Saturday, Sunday. So he bet $80, 50 big. And guess what? Yesterday, Sunday, 0232 first prize.
Wow.
And then he texted me and said, you couldn't believe it, Vivian. You told me to buy over the weekends, and I only buy one day. So I text him, you're not listening. If you listen to me, I told you buy over the weekends, you would have gone to take 200,000 because he paid $80 for the private. So he's got to collect 200,000, and he was stunned. I said, I don't think you can sleep tonight.
Tell them about how they move the slot machine because of you.
Yeah, because if you play the casino...
This is some time ago already, right?
Yeah, because
the
you
microphone.
need to use
Microphone.
I use the qua number. So don't try, just have to do your homework. Because
Everyone
if
needs
you
to do homework. This is only game of fun.
just for fun, if
fun
you want to go in to win, you have to see when is the month. Like for me, I'm a rainwater. I would go in when it's May, June, July, summer, or the stems, pink and pink fires comes out, or whether it's hidden or under the branch of where the fire element comes out. So I use my qua number because I'm qua number 9. So qua 9, affiliated numbers, affinity number, not lucky number, is 4 or 1. So I'll choose the number 4, 1, or 1, 9, that kind of number. So I'll look for the slot. And this one time, I started playing slot only in 2013. Prior to that, I used to win the lottery by doing deck selection.
But you win
activation.
every year.
Yeah, that's from 1997.
You have all the documents.
Yes, I documented.
We're still waiting for the publication.
Because you have to do
every year, right? Every year without fail.
Because you have to do your research. And yesterday, I bought the group, Patricia and the rest of MBS. You were supposed to join us, you couldn't make it. So yesterday, because I had one house, the old house, that number was 515. So I told this interior decorator, you should rent my place, $5,000. And this number is 515. And yesterday came out 0515. So I won the lottery yesterday. And this month is Ting Fire, is Ting Matter. My daughter is Ting Fire. So fire sees wealth. So I buy her number. I got 2 numbers yesterday. So yesterday,
just like that, huh?
Pat and the rest went with us. They're supposed to all go on Dutch. I said, you get free dinner tonight. Yeah. So
and all your free Birkin bags?
Yeah,
Tell them
that
about
was for yesterday night.
There's only one person this way and more Birkin bags.
So come back to that. Come back to that. 2013. It was the first time I played slot. At that time, in Resort World Sentosa, I still have not. I don't know how to play slot. I started walking in and...
You use Chiman Feng Shui for this,
Yeah, this one, yeah. But before this one was the one in RWS when I first, because remember Sally Ye wanted to go to Vegas for a show, and you asked me to book Joel Robuchon. So I went Joel Robuchon for dinner in RWS, and I walked into the casino, and I only play one machine because I don't know how to play slot. That was my first time playing slot, and when I saw this number, 4104, so I said, oh, this is my number. I sat there and I played, and I won 36,000. Oh my God, and RWS gave me the check. And then after that I said, no, I'm not going to play anymore because I win the 36,000. And 2013, when I started Joey's Chiman class in KL, and Joey talks about Hamdo, and Joey says he doesn't gamble. You can go and try and do the research. So from 2013, I started doing the research using the Hamdo, because I have the plan. I have lots of customers in Marina Bay, so I know which direction.
He got the whole plans of the casino.
A lot of them are high profiles, are my client up there. Yeah, so I have the plan, and then I start using the Chiman.
Hold on a second. Step one, get a plan, remember?
Yeah. You don't have a plan, you don't know how to go in.
See?
You do not know where's the door. Without the plan, I won't be able to do this. So I look at the harm door, and then I look at stars, the good structures. If you do not know how to read the structures, you go to Joey Chiman 365, red color or black color. The more red color, the better it is. And you look at the stems with the Yi Ping Ting. So Yi Ping Ting is one of the good one. And Ham Dao is you go out to fight. Just like you want to win the game, you go for sports, you go for hunting, you go for a game, you lose the Ham Dao. So if the Ham Dao doesn't have, I also use the chief. The chief must come with the three nobles, the Yi Ping Ting, or the wood structures. And I look at the directions. I can use the big Tai Chi, I can use the small Tai Chi. I go to different VIPs room. They're all different. So I use that for
You always get free rooms already,
Yeah.
Now
And
you're
every month,
hyper-earning, and again, Vivian, she does this for fun, and the results are only unique to her. You guys can do your own thing.
Because it's not everybody can do it, because you need to know your parts. You need to do a little bit of date selection, activation, activate your wealth. So I activate my house every month 2 times. Out of 1 month, maybe there's only 2 or 3 dates that's good for you to activate. Then you get clarity. It's from the clarity that you'll be able to feel better, and the universe will come to you in the winning of the phone and the lottery, because.
But that's your favorite, right? Always buy one number, and almost every year, don't know how many times you got.
Yeah, because I countless. But now I don't have time to record, and I do pictures taking in my phone now.
Just snap the picture
So I
of the
snap
winning,
and I
right?
keep a record. So you actually, if you want to win, it's not all the time. You have to see your capacity, your parts, your date selection, your activation, and then
But
you
you
get
give
the
a lot of
clarity.
clients, you give a lot of clients numbers also, right?
Yeah, because sometimes I do, and then most of the time it works. Yeah. So this is just for the trying to test and to learn how the achievement works, and the gaming and the date selection. But my profession is more on helping the high corporates, big companies, and all that. There's one story I like to share on Feng Shui. Okay, so on July 17, I got a text from one of my customer. She said, Vivian, I've been with this company for 11 years, and I've been your husband's business associate. The most amazing and wonderful experience I have is I'm so fortunate to have met you, because of after meeting you, my total life has changed. She got married for 3 years, and she wanted to have babies. So she went to see a Feng Shui master.
Wait for a second.
He called the Feng Shui for her.
You help them.
She see the doctor, the gynae. She see TCM. She went to IVF. She had a very hard time. 3 years, mother-in-law, mother were all asking, when's the baby coming? So she's very, very stressed. So I did a Feng Shui, I adjusted, and I tell her, if you really want, you follow, and the chances is very good. You're going to get a baby girl. So she followed the instruction where to make babies, and she followed. So she was very happy. She got a baby girl. So immediately she got a baby girl. During her baby shower, she invited me, and she said to me, Vivian, I want another baby. I said, no, it's only 1 month. How are you going to cope with the work, with having a new maid to take care of the baby? She said that 3 years stress is really killing me. Just help me. I want a baby boy. So, okay. So now I said, okay, you do this again. And she got a baby boy. So she's very fulfilling, that she has a very good career. She has a family life and all fulfilled. And last year, I got another high corporate, Singapore, the daughter-in-law, see me, and she said, Vivian, I have a baby boy, 3 years, and I'm hoping to get a baby girl. So, you know, I print Joey's calendar, and I would do for all my high corporates, when to do the activation, when to see customer, when you're nobleman, blah, blah, blah. And then I say, you want a baby? So you come January to Joey's seminar, and I give you the calendar. So she told me, Vivian, I actually got pregnant now, so I can't come to Joey's seminar, but can you help me calculate? I'm very eager, I hope I get a baby girl. So I saw February, the chart, Hinman, and she has a Kwa 9, and her palace is in the south, and there's a star 4 there. So I always look at star 3 and 9, wood, fit, fire, brilliant child, or star 4 and 9. I said, you're going to get a baby girl, you don't have to worry. So my son was in Bangkok. I asked my son to bring the calendar to her because she knows I live in Bangkok. They have big business in Bangkok that husband is taking care. So 3 months later, she texts me and said, Vivian, that's correct. Doctor says it's a baby girl. So it's going to be a baby girl coming up this November.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for that sharing. You guys have questions for Vivian? Questions for Vivian? All right, I'm going to take just two.
Maybe I share one more Feng Shui story.
Yeah, okay, one more quick one.
I have one more very
she's got a
interesting
lot
on
of
Feng
stories.
Shui. This Feng Shui story is one of my clients. She used to come to see me to read parts, and every year I'll do her parts reading for her. I do her daughter studying in New York, study architecturing, and then the son study imperial, study business. Then when she has several houses, she wanted to build her house, and the house, the cost of the building is about 1.5 million. So she said, Vivian, you're very expensive. I sent my husband to go and study from one of the local master. So I said, you go and study with Joey. She said, Joey is too expensive. So I'll go for the cheaper one. So she went with one of the Hong Kong masters, which is one of my master, used to come quarterly to Singapore. And that Feng Shui master doesn't teach other thing other than flying stars. He will not use the 8 mansion. He doesn't see landform. So they built the house, and then the house, I didn't know what's the position, I didn't want to ask. So one day during consult, she came to me, and I look at her eyes. She had a blue ring in her eyes. I say, hi, I don't want to mention the name. I say, you had a blue ring in your eyes. You have a problem because you're very young. Do you have water in your south? She said, how do you know? I said, eyes is Li Gua. Li Gua is the south. And you must have moved into this house because you don't have the blue ring in your eyes. So she said, yeah, I have the water in the south because I'm activating the star 8. So I said, then, so how after you move into this house? She said, after I moved into this house, I didn't speak to my husband for 1 year. So that is another problem. So I say, you Kwa 8. Do you put another pool in the northeast? She said, yes. So I say, your daughter is Kwa 8. Did your daughter have a problem with the boyfriend? After they move in, the daughter break off with the boyfriend, and she's Kwa 8. So both of them, the northeast has another big pond with lovely fishes. She said, now Vivian, my husband spent 35,000 buying all the koi fish, the good quality. He's going to kill me to move the northeast pond and the south pond. He's very charismatic, chauvinistic, and he won't listen. The only person can help me is you. So I said, because she made a mistake sending the husband to the wrong masters to build the house wrongly, so how is she going to convince the husband to remove the pool? So after that, I said, okay, maybe I should read his parts before I talk about the Feng Shui. When I talk to him about the parts, he'll be very convinced. I'll be able to tell him what business you're doing, what blah, 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 blah. So I did the parts of reading in her house, and the husband was so amazed that I know everything that he's doing. How's his business, where his flow go, where he make the money, and then I start telling him about these two that you have to move. So after convincing the husband, eventually, months later, they remove, because they just moved into a new house which is very costly to remove the pond.
So they remove south and northeast pond?
Northeast pond.
Okay.
So after that, the next year, she came to Joey's seminar, and she also came to me, the blue ring left. And
Okay,
it's
just
quite
a quick
unusual.
one here. Blue ring around the iris here means you got a heart problem. Okay, if you look in your eyes right now, the eyeballs, right on the pupil, if there's a blue, tiny blue ring, that means your heart is blocked. Turn around, see your friend right now. Okay. block how much? This one is Chinese medicine, okay?
Look at crowd.
But if you read, not yet done, okay? You must check. First, relax, look at me again. Relax, huh? You see your earlobe whether got line. If there's a line, and then the blue ring, yeah? Okay, don't worry, go see doctor quick, or remove water from the south.
Then I told her, you have to go and see doctor. She said, I won't believe, Vivian, I'm so healthy, I'm a vegetarian. First and the 15th of lunar month, I'm a vegetarian and I eat very little. She's very slim. So she don't have much problem. She said, that would be the last thing you tell me I have heart problem. So I introduced Dr. Michael Lim, one of the high profile cardio, and she really went there and was the early stage of blockage. So early stage of blockage, and I see the chart, she could use Chiawood, which is TCM. So I said at the same time, you follow up with the doctor, at the same time you do go for a TCM. So I said TCM will recommend. So I said what the TCM recommended you. He said the TCM recommended her Tian Qi. So Tian Qi is good for the heart. So eventually she took, and then after 1 year the blue ring removed, the water removed, everything removed. Now she's very, very happy.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Wow. Who's got a question for Vivian? Question? Yes, over there. One question here, one more. Just two and then we move on quickly. Anyone else? There's
Hi,
one more question.
Vivian. I'm Marina from Manila. I watched your video during the Chimen Basic module with Joey about your stories that you also can find person that you have lost connection over the years.
What is that?
You can find person that you have lost connection over the years for like 35 years. I have a daughter, it's very personal. I have a daughter that I gave away during like early pregnancy.
So you gave away a daughter in your younger days and you want to find her?
Yes, I want to find her.
Okay, that's going to be a long job.
Shiman, you're talking about Shiman?
Yes.
Long lost.
I gave away.
Oh, you're looking for your long lost daughter.
Yes.
So that one you have to plot the day chart, the hour chart, and then see what's the outcome, where to look for, which direction to go for.
It's a multiple process step. It's not just one chart because that's
you have
too long.
You have to plot.
Yeah.
And then you look at the direction where to go for, and you look like the structures and the stems and the deities and the star, who to look for, who to get the help from, and do all the research.
You see Vivian later on, yeah? But it's going to be expensive, all right?
Thank you so much.
I'm Eileen, also from Manila, Philippines.
From Manila, all right.
I'm just curious how long Miss Vivian practiced this Bazi and became so professional, so master and everything, especially the Chimen and the Bazi together. And when did you realize you really like this thing?
When before that I was interior fashion designer and then interior decorating, and I never think that I'll be a Feng Shui master. When I retire after the 60, I want to do creative things like doing potteries. But because of my work in the 80s, I go to Hong Kong, and everybody in Hong Kong are very hardworking. They live in small apartment, so they have to use the Yun Hong Dai Guang, the Shen Kong. So they go with the yearly flying stars. And then my influence with the flying stars, the annual, is very strong in the 80s. So I use that. And then in the 80s also I started doing interior decorating.
So I think she's asking you, when did you realize that you can do this?
In the 1980s, I already, before going into professional learning in 1997, in the 80s, I already very aware of yearly stars, which a lot of my friends in Hong Kong, they give me the books, they influence me on the annual.
Very long ago.
In the early 80s, I look
But she
at...
started doing a long time, but I think your question is when can you start too, right? When would you be able to do it? I think people have different timing. I think Paula is only like 3 years. Okay, 3 years. And I think for Master it's his whole life already, but probably I think you don't really decide where you just become a pro. It's like, I think the people want your help and you want to help them. And eventually the universe will guide you towards doing that. You know, that's more like it. I think if you just say, I'm going to open shop tomorrow and wait for consults, I don't think it works like that. It's like you keep doing this. This is an art. And if you love this art, the universe will send you people that need your help. Okay? If you have that intention to help people, I promise you the clients will come. Okay? If you have no intention to help, you just want to use this to make money, I promise you, you have no clients. Okay? You have no clients whatsoever. Right? Isn't that the way for all of us here?
Yeah,
Since
since
we
I
gotta have pass to Petri, otherwise we'll be talking for a day. Okay, thank you. Pat is like, oh, when's my turn? All right. Okay, Pat. Tell us, you obviously, I know you for some time, but I think you have a very interesting life transformation story to share. So maybe you can tell us where you're from and what transformed from you before and after.
I'm from San Francisco, and I started studying Feng Shui when in the United States the only thing that was available was black sect.
Can you put the mic nearer there?
This better?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. I started learning Feng Shui, and in the United States it was only the black sect. So somehow I ended up with the same program she had, with the home study Flying Star. And I said, there's something about this guy that's completely different than everything that I knew. And so I somehow found my way to Joey. And it was really the Chi Men that completely changed my life. But my first class with Joey, I was a very annoying student.
No, you were just a student from hell.
Yeah. That's more accurate. He said I was a student from hell. And I was scolded. And it hurt so bad, I said, I'm not coming back. I was so mad, I said, I'm never coming back. But then the reason I came back is I'm in the class and he's doing this I Ching thing, and he looks at me, he said, this is how it works. You just, the first image you get, that's what it is. He looked at me, he goes, she's born in the hour of the snake. And then I was born in the hour of the snake. I said, how does this guy know this? That made me change my vibration. But one thing I realized that Joey's has my nobleman star in his chart. When your nobleman speaks, you should listen. So then, but I had that mindset, that vibration. He's too expensive. I'm never going to go to Asia. I'm only going to go to the United States. And then he came to New York and he talked about Chi Men. As soon as his mouth opened, it was a 2-hour class. I said, oh my God, I have to go. And then he said, are you coming? I said, the money. And he goes, get some sponsors. So I went out and did that. And I used, it was only a 2-hour class. He said, use your deity and use the chief. So I just went out class every day, put my back to the chief, and commanded that, or those days we were asking, find me a way to get to Malaysia. And then my deity was 9 heavens, and I knew I had to have a plan. I knew that I couldn't just ask.
Less than a couple of days, right?
Yeah. So then I said, give me a plan. I launched a plan on Halloween. 4 days later, I had $28,000 US. And
then you were in KL?
And then I went to KL, and
you had extra money because my class wasn't 28,000 US, okay?
It wasn't 28,000. I ended up going to the Shan Yuan Chi Men Shui Kong Da Gua class, and then I had enough money to go to China. And since then, 2013, I've been to Malaysia 15 times. and to his China excursions. So the point is that whatever there is a block, if you have that mindset, I can't go because it's too expensive or whatever, that's true. You will not get there. If you have the passion to want to get there, you just have to make a plan. And it doesn't mean you're not scared. Being scared, a lot of things you do differently, you're going to be scared, but just do it anyway. And so then I came to Chi Men, and one thing led to another, and all of a sudden, now, before I met Joey, I was a United States consultant, and I thought I was doing pretty good. I had clients all over the United States. Now that I met Joey, I have clients in 17 countries. And this is mostly Chi-Men. Okay, and then what happened was, Iverson, I had, because of your class, I got a free consult. I said, I want Iverson. And Iverson said, oh, you have the Emperor Star this year. You can be famous. You need to go out and speak and do videos, and you need to tell stories. Your inspiration is still to tell stories. And then I'm thinking like, oh, and then you need to get on videos. I didn't know how to make a video, and I was very intimidated. So then I went home and I looked at my chart. Oh, and he said to talk. You need to talk. You just need to make videos. So what happened? I did the Chi-Men ask. I said, give me a plan. Put in front of me whoever I need to make this happen. Because Iverson said, you got 1 year, Pat. You don't do it by this year, you blow it. I said, oh my God, all the pressure, right? So I did my Chi-Men command and my ask, and then all of a sudden these people started coming to me. Paola was one of them. I'd been going to class and seen her, we never talked. She goes, you need to make videos, and this is how you make videos, and it's so easy, and it's free, and it's this. And I'm thinking like, oh, I'm intimidated. So I made a video. My first video was how I earned $28,000 to get to Joey Yap's classes. And so that gave me confidence to how to do this. Then I kept asking for more people to come to me, and then all of a sudden, a friend that Priya had introduced me to, where's Priya? Priya introduced me to a friend who became a client, and this lady's connected to Radio Television Hong Kong. So all of a sudden, this lady introduces us, and she said, and the Hong Kong lady said, can you come to Hong Kong? I want to interview you. So I went to Hong Kong and I interviewed, and that video got over 4,000 views.
That's cool.
And then on the day I came here, she said, can I do another interview? Just by the telephone. So I did it, and she goes, you are really good. You speak really good. Everything Iverson said to me, she was saying. So then she said, can I interview you every 6 weeks?
Wow. There you go.
Yeah, there I go.
Set the intention up and it's there.
So all of this has been extremely helpful, but the most impactful thing for transformation is the Chi-Men and going to the excursions. The excursions gave me the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is being aware of my conscious, subconscious mind. And I didn't realize that my subconscious mind is very good at having a low vibration. That's why I got scolded. And so what happened is I went to China and...
You changed a lot.
Yeah, I changed a lot.
You changed a lot. You're much happier now.
Yes.
A lot happier.
It's true. I have changed a lot. I have changed a lot. And the thing that changed the most for me was the vibration, the frequency, the happiness, to be able to see the positive. And one thing I want to tell you is you are all here. A door of opportunity opened for you. All of you. It's what you do with it now. And so when the door of opportunity opened for me, I had the choice to never come back. And so my suggestion to all of you, you're here for a reason. So you make the choice now what you're going to do with your next step. It took a long time. It takes a lot of work, but you can do it, and don't let fear stop you. It's okay to do things afraid, but when you do it, you become very confident. So I have changed a lot.
And you and your son is much better now.
Yes, and we went to Taiwan. I brought my son, and it completely changed our relationship. So for me, all the Feng Shui, the successes and everything is wonderful. The most important thing in this that I've learned from the last China trip was to be internally happy and to find peace and to know yourself and to understand your purpose. Then all that other stuff actually is easier.
Yeah.
And so I'm going back to Taiwan next year.
Wow,
yeah.
That's good. Oh, great. Questions for Patricia? Yes, one question over here. One more. You guys can ask anyone as well. Yeah, over there. Okay, if you just stand up, we'll get the microphones to you guys. One here, one there. Anyone else? Yes, over there as well. Okay, go ahead.
Hello, Joy. Hello, team. I'm Colette from Ireland, and I spoke with Pat yesterday. I saw your video.
Saw your video?
I saw your video, and I had more or less made up my mind to come here. But your video absolutely made me decide yes, because you were kind of clueless on video, as I am. And I said, well, if you can do this, well, so can I. So thank you, Pat.
You inspired someone.
Absolutely, yes.
Inspired
Thank
someone.
you. And now I have a
Question? You have a question?
question.
All right, can you put the microphone a bit nearer?
Sorry.
Right.
Is that better?
Yes, much better.
Paula, you gave us the numbers for your son, your daughter, and your husband. Could you give us the numbers that you used for your success? Please. Thank you.
First one.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
No.
The numbers that I use for my success?
Yes,
I'm a 1-9. So I use the 4, which is my He2 combo, and it's wood, so it produces me. Also, I am a Feng Shui consultant, like I said before, so my market is the Spanish market. I am blessed to say that there is a 4-month waiting list to see me as well. And I do a lot of writing. I have my own book, I have my own talk show, so I like the 4 because it's academic and information. I also use the 7 because, like I was telling Pat, I do monthly videos on YouTube and they get 15, 20,000 views. So I don't look for my wealth element. It's like what Joe was saying, what do I want? I want to speak and people to hear me. I want to be influential, so I use 7 and sometimes 6. And I want to be able to have the knowledge to write and transfer that to my clients, so that's 4. And happens to be a He2 combo to my 1-9. So then that's what I do. Me personally, my experience with my clients, I'm not a big fan of the 8, simply because I think personally that the 8 is too slow. And I am red water, so I have no patience. So I like things fast. So my experience is the 8 is a little bit too slow. I'd rather have the 1 more than the 8, but that's just my experience.
Good.
Okay.
All right.
Can I add something? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next question over there. One more over that side, yeah.
My name is Ruby. I'm coming from Mexico.
From Mexico.
I want to thank you very, very much for sharing your knowledge, all of you. This morning has been so inspiring to me. And Pat, honestly, after I kind of feel like I was pushed into this vaccine last year. But you were the one who told me, don't worry, just go for it. So here I am.
You inspired
And
someone.
I thank you
Wow.
very, very much for that. Enjoy, during my vaccine training, during those exercises that you encourage us to do, I have a very good friend of mine that he was recently lost his job back in Cancun. He's a director of sales for a project. And he came to me and I said, listen, I'm practicing, I'm not going to charge you for this, but if you do this, you might get a job. So he did it. And he's in Jamaica, working for a huge resort development.
That's great.
And I was just in the training process. I didn't even finish Patsy. I was like on the model 6 or 7. So I was so amazed.
Right.
My background is in sales.
Right.
A month later, he called me again and said, Ruby, I love this. Jamaica is nice. I'm making a lot of money, but I'm not happy.
Right, I need to stop you for a while. A great story, but do you have a question for any of our guests here? Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, what was the question again?
I want to focus my knowledge of the Feng Shui. I just finished the Feng Shui Pro. To help my friends and clients to sell more within the hospitality business.
Right.
In addition to activate the Sector 6 of the heads of the sales department of any hotel in their home and their offices.
Right.
Is there anything else you consider important for me to know so I can start helping all these people?
Right. The summary is she's having a hospitality business. In addition to using the 6, what else can she do?
Well, I first asked what the goal, the business people, what their goal is, because you really do have to match what they want. Sometimes I realize that I'm assuming the business wants the same thing. So do they want more visibility? Do they want more money? are they having a staff problem? You have to decide that first, and then you answer. Then you can address the problem and then go into the Feng Shui and using the appropriate stars. Okay?
Thank you very much.
All right.
One fascinating thing, whatever's in the year in your chart, you will find it in the house. When Iverson told me this, I went to my house and he said, you need to speak, and it's the Gua 7. What's at my front door? Gua 7. What do I find out yesterday? I have a pearl string in my house for the year. And Joey said, you can be famous this year, right? And I realized that Iverson, what he said, it was accurate. He didn't look at my house. And not only is there a 7 there, there's the Gua 9.
Wow.
And then I'm Gua 2. And 2 and a 7 combined together, so the 7 works very well for me.
You're pure Gua. You're pure element.
Yeah. And Gua 2 pulls people together.
You're gonna be freaking famous this year. Better do something about it. Better be famous for good reasons.
May I ask another question? May I ask another question?
All right, we're gonna pass the question to somebody else right now. We can see them later after this, right? Okay, tell me. Anyone else? Will you take one more? Okay.
Hi, good morning everyone. My name is Hui T. I'm from Singapore.
Right.
And to Pat, I saw your video on YouTube. And yeah, and I interacted with you because of questions. I actually have a question for Paula. Just now she mentioned about her identity, that she searched for her identity. So I'd like to know how you managed to do that, because for me, I want to search for life purpose. So
She's searching for identity and
Where's she standing?
How did you do
Mana dia sini?
how you can help her?
Oh, of course. My main thing was I started studying law because it was the thing to do. And I was very successful, so I guess I was supposed to be happy. But I knew that money does not bring happiness. I felt that I needed to do something more, but I didn't know what that was. When I found out that my Gua was 9, so the South sector was missing, I knew that's why I couldn't find my purpose and my passion. South has to do with passion and fire and happiness. So I knew that house was never going to help me bring my happiness. So I immediately moved to a house that had the Southeast good for my daughter and the South good for me. Which is also, I don't know if I mentioned before, as you guys know, the South and the Southeast is a hit-to combo. So if one is bad, the other one is bad, and if one is bad, the other one is bad. So it was a really bad house for us. So the moment I moved into the house that supported my Gua, I immediately started finding my purpose. I activated my nobleman star. I cannot emphasize that enough. Please activate your nobleman star, because people come to you and start telling you, maybe you should teach a small group of people what you do. Can you do my audit for free? I'll pay you $20. And then I came home one day, I did my first audit, $25.
Okay.
And I told my husband.
Mine was $1.
Well, I did $25, yes, and I came home so happy. And I remember my husband said, I haven't seen you this happy in so long. And I'm like, yes, and I paid $25. This is coming from an attorney. $25 was nothing. And then I told him, I wish I could do this for the rest of my life. And he said, just do it. And sometimes all you need is that one person to tell you just do it. And what I thought was, maybe I don't know enough. But remember, your clients will always know less than you do. So it doesn't matter how much you know more than they do, so you're good.
And the most fulfilling thing is when people come to you and say, you changed my life, you inspired me. That's why even $25 doesn't matter, because that's so fulfilling. And I think everyone here on stage has felt that because of what we do.
And like Joey said, create your passion. If you don't have it, create it. What am I good at? What do I like doing? And what would I like my doing for the rest of my life? Then follow that. And find a way to get paid for it.
All right. Thank you. Okay, one question over here. This gentleman here, right? Yes. Anyone else? We'll pick one more and then that's it. Yeah, over here as well. Okay.
First of all, thanks for sharing for the master of the master, especially including Patricia. That's why I shared her video also. And subsequently, that I just want to divert my questions maybe to the follow-up from what is this shared by Miss Vivian.
Miss Vivian, all right?
Yeah.
Vivian. She's directing the question to you.
Yeah, I just want to follow up out of curiosity. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're going to speak a bit louder.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Now we can.
Oh, so, yeah. Follow up for what you were trying to share just now. Forgive me, I'm asking a basic question. So what is the correlationship, just out of curiosity, what is the correlationship between what you share, Bazi, and your client that doing some investment in the resource world? That means what is the correlationship with you are seeing the analyze from the Bazi and they are doing the gambling?
What is that?
What is there any correlationship between Bazi and her client going to the casino and gamble?
So you want to see why they gamble, or you want to see who can win? Why don't you ask directly? Who can win, whether your child can win or not, right? Okay.
I'm asking for my one of my
Of
friends.
course, it's for your friend, right? I see.
Yeah. And for my interest.
I think you want to know when you can win the money, right?
Yeah.
So based on your day master, if you're rainwater, you look at summer month, which is May, June, July, and you look at the calendar, they have the stamps. When the pink fire and the ting fire appear, that's the time where it's good for you. And if you can't find them in the stems, it will be in the branch, or either hidden in the branch. That takes a longer time, or maybe you win lesser. So then that's if you are a U-Earth, then you look for U-Earth and G-Earth. You look at water month, which is winter, November, December, January, and then you look at the monthly stems, which is a rainwater, aqua water that's appear, or either is in the branches or hidden. So when it appear on the stems, you get big ones.
Okay. My question is what about correlation between profile and profile, like 偏财, 正财? Is there any
About
correlation?
direct wealth and indirect wealth.
There's no relationship, right?
Yeah, no. Because in my party, I only have direct wealth. I don't have indirect wealth in my party at all. But I use it very well, my indirect wealth. I don't even have indirect wealth in my party. But it's one of my useful God.
If you
use
attend our Feng Shui or Bazi classes, you know, direct, indirect wealth is not gambling money. If you put effort in making money, it is direct wealth. She put effort, you know. Okay? It's research. All right. Cool. All right. What's that? One more question here. All right. I think you guys will be flooded after this. Definitely flooded. Yeah.
I have two questions, but I will ask them continuously because they might be related. The first one is directed at Patricia. This year I discovered that I have 9 heaven visiting my destiny palace. So I only know that 9 heaven might help me with the planning and strategy. So ask for a better plan and clarity. But what can I do to better utilize this dating? Can you tell in specific? And the second question is that I recently discovered that I have a creativity block my entire life.
Creativity block?
Yeah, since I was a kid until now. When I do exams in high schools, my friends, they usually in the literature test, they usually write 5 or 6 pages, and I can only write 1. Yeah.
Just like me.
Yeah, and
let me answer this question.
Do you know your level? Do you know your level of your 9 heavens?
I don't remember, but I think 3, 4, 5. I think
3, 4, 5.
I don't know.
Find that out. It makes a difference. I'm level 7, and it makes a huge difference. Where's your front door?
My front door is west.
West. Okay. What I do is for 9 heavens. What I found out, a correlation between what is in somebody reads for you, like what Iverson read for me. I went into my house. I'm level 7, 9 heavens. At my front door is southwest. My Chi Min Feng Shui map, 9 heavens is at the southwest. And Nine Heavens is in the Southwest this year. And I think it's Open Door, or Life Open Door. So what is that? Opportunities. So then I found out my month pillar, my career pillar, is at my front door. So there are some correlations for you in your house. You need to look at your house, you need to look at your chart, and look at the positives. If you look at the negatives, it's that vibration thing. You can't succeed. Just look for it, whatever's possible, whatever's positive, and you use that. And there's always more than one place to go.
Yeah. There's always
Find out all those places. There's
tomorrow, day 4, that's where Qi Feng Shui comes in. So we will learn how to see those doors and deities in your house. Okay? Just hang on for that. You'll get your answer tomorrow. Okay? And to answer your second question on because he says it's not so creative, you need to write one page where his friends can write 5 pages. Let me tell you this. I failed in English 1119 paper. Okay, I failed in that exam and therefore I didn't get qualified for A levels. So I had to take the other alternative, which is a Canadian matriculation program, which at the time the dean said in order for you to qualify for university, you need to take a Canadian matriculation program because there's one subject called English Lit. So you need to pass English literature. So I studied that subject, and in that subject, that's where I learned how to write. That's why I got 170 books. Okay? So there must be a reason why you can't write, and somehow the universe will point you in the right direction. Use the right doors, use the right energy. You'll be there, don't worry.
And track the 9 heavens in the day charts or the month charts, and use it until you get to that vibration of the frequency of understanding what 9 heavens is, to use it adequately.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. All right. Enough for the questions for now. We'll do more Q&A. First of all, I'd like to thank you guys so much for spending your time with us today. Thank you. And just a quick announcement. If you are going to join us this year for the Feng Shui Mastery Masters of Masters program, do let us know. This is the lunch break that this is the break that we need to register so that we can bring you all for lunch later on. All these guys will be there. You can talk to them during lunch. It'll be an orientation just to get you started. Do let us know. Now, some people ask the question, Tools of Titans and classic Feng Shui. Some may not have the time. Don't worry. You can do the Masters first and then do the theory later. It's fine. The way I structured the program, you can do which one first. It does not matter. You don't have to be consecutive. All right? So do let us know if you're going to join us. This will be the time. The people here are there to help you answer some questions. And this will be a break. It's not a lunch break yet. This will just be a break. And I'm going to see you later. Okay? So 15 minutes. All right? Thank you so much.
Sampah lah.